Everybody hears it start. We'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Samantha, how are you?
Good. You have your report in front of you on your spreadsheet.
Yes, ma'am.
For the month of January, we had 210 911 calls, up from 191 last year. Remained within all of our contracted times. Transfers are listed there. Our treatment of transports were up a little bit. Students and classes were down. It was January. We had just our normal ongoing. We didn't have any community AHA courses in January. We offered them. We didn't have any participants. Mutual aids are about at average, and then PRs were down because it was not really grade time. Any questions on the front page? Second page is where the 210 911 calls were transported to. 159 to Verizon Health. The 40 at the top is your treat no transports. Second highest transport was 6 to Union, 2 to Sarahbush. Any questions for me?
I noticed Northern Edgar County also had quite an increase from last year. Is that the whole respiratory problem impact?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. We have a new CEO effective January 20th. These meetings have been put on his calendar, so he will prioritize and get here to meet you all when he's not learning the organization through a fire hose.
Anything else? Thank you, Samantha.
How about the Clark County thing? Working on that still?
Just waiting on Philip.
Is there any public comment? Hearing none. Ladies?
Well, we're just here for a warning. I don't know how many taxpayers come to you and complain about property taxes, but just so you know, I know people think we don't know what we're doing, but the problem is we actually do. We're looking at significant factoring again. It's ugly. We have the board review in Thursday, is why we're here today. I will not be at the county board meeting on Thursday, so we've got pending cases at the state level, so we'll be dealing with that. Kathy's here with me because we have these, I'm not boring you with math, our math teachers would be very proud of us though. But there's this long report for every township. There's 5 reports that we feed numbers into here. Many of the numbers are in the millions. One person, we read back and forth multiple times over a year. So, I mean, it's just very tedious, it's very difficult, and right now the numbers are indicating a majority of the townships around another 10% increase. We're waiting. I'm waiting on Matthew. Matthew isn't even the assessor up there anymore, but he's still very good friends with us, and he did take our work home over the weekend to review it, and he'll let us know this morning what he
That's
thinks.
Vermillion County.
Vermillion, yes. Yeah, he left that position, and he's now the county clerk up there. So, anyway, we're waiting. Again, it's just a warning that I also, I think you will agree, but I think it's only fair. We only have to notify people that have changes. A factor notice can be a block ad in the newspaper. We do not have to notify them individually. I just feel like we should. That's going to be an increase in cost in paper and envelopes and postage. But
How many
otherwise,
do you have to send out then?
18,000 parcels. So the problem is Jeff, your township gets increased by 10%, you don't get the paper. You have no way of knowing that's happening until you get your tax bill, and then it's too late. You cannot file an appeal, you can't do anything about it. So it's not fair to not notify these people.
I agree, but spending $10,000, $15,000
Oh gosh, no, that'd be how many parcels we'd have to run. We're prepared to run 18 sheets of paper through a printer and 18,000 envelopes, 18,000 pieces of mail
Well, the
going through them.
postage on that is what, 60 cents?
70.
70.
69 for
69.
government charge out.
Well, so let's just say 70 times 18. I mean, that's still
We can
almost
also, we
$10,000
can
bucks.
pack,
13,000 roughly.
Okay?
right, because we can pack 4 sheets of paper in an envelope.
Right, yeah, not only that, but there we have multiple that we, like the banks, we hand deliver. or-
Right, or somebody like Forsyth's that has one that's 2 inches thick, we put it in one envelope and have one instead of all those mailed separately.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, that's,
It is, and that's what we did last year.
can we, it's just thought, can we give the banks a tear sheet to put in their deposits? Or can we, would they run something for us that would let everybody know, kind of a notice?
For those
On bank
people that bank
statements?
local, I mean, there's people who.
Well, I'm just,
Right.
I'm just
trying
thinking
to,
the opposite.
Right,
yeah.
and we could put something on the website, but I can't tell you how many people, oh, I didn't know you had a website.
If you do a news release in the paper, there are about, 3 or 4 different Facebook groups that would post it. I'm just thinking because I follow them.
Right, we did do it last year because it was the first time. Now we're looking at it again and again, you don't read the paper, you're not on Facebook, whatever, you have no way of knowing
They're
that.
not gonna know.
there's some people that, even if you said that, they're not gonna know.
Right, well,
That's-
or if people see in the paper, they don't understand what it is.
Well, I'm just,
You know, they just look at all these numbers, so I hate the thought of someone getting a tax bill
Now,
and
this
me having
is
to say,
non-farm ground, this is building, that's not
Right.
the right way to say it, but.
this is
it's the-
anything non-farm. So that could be commercial, industrial, vacant lots, anything residential. We're hoping we have some numbers wrong and it won't be as bad as we think, but right now, Kansas is the worst one, it was gonna be 13%.
And they are,
With 16% last year.
and they are probably one of them that is less likely to get the paper, so that it would be less
are they
efficient for
getting a
them.
quad?
They just did.
That is the one. The problem is, again, we have limited number of sales that are affecting our market value that are highly increased.
Are the attorneys, are we still having issues with the attorneys?
Not since, a lot of them have started doing the MIDAC, it seems to have curved. I mean, yes, there's always gonna be a few, but I mean, it seems that, I think
That's
it's
good.
curved.
I
Glad to
think
hear
they've
that.
learned too, because we've pestered them. You didn't mark this line, could you please email me confirming you should have? And,
Augie's office and I think as we, have been more communicative when there's questions too, that we kind of knocked them out, so I think it's.
How much of an increase was last year roughly?
10 townships had 16,
Some of them have 11,
there were 2 at 11, and Paris was at 8, and then we had 2 quads that were actually ones. We actually have one township that looks to be a little high, but we don't dare lower it, knowing what's coming in the future. Edgar Township was actually 0.96, which means you have to lower it 4%, and we've already talked to Matthew, and he said, don't you even, you leave it at 1, because, and again, we have appeals. The board lowers those that maybe were correctly valued, now, erroneously got increased 10%. Time, you lower with board review appeals, then you still end up at a lower amount, so.
So you said a 10% increase, so in the value? Okay, so
Yes.
what does that mean as far as taxes?
Depends on what everybody levies.
Right. My guess is most entities, I'm assuming even the county, did not levy in 10% increase. So my thought is the tax rate will be the same or lower. Because there's more out here, you don't have to charge as much to get the amount you asked for. Nobody anticipated that kind of an increase.
what the planners will do in each government agency, for example, they're currently getting 90. They look at the equalized assessed value of the area that they can collect taxes from. And they may see, okay, it's gonna grow 10%, so we'll ask for 10% more money. As long as it, but then they run into the 5%. Like the school districts, most of them
Right.
raised more than 5, in fact, most of them raised more than 10%. Yeah,
So based on what you're telling us, most of these, the school districts, villages, everybody, the county, will be asking for a 10% increase.
Well, you've already set your budget, so now
No,
it's just a
I'm
matter.
talking about,
Oh, the next year?
yeah,
Wait and see what happens. I mean, she just looked this morning, we have a house on Madison Street that just listed for $254,000. I don't know when this is gonna stop.
it's what, 469 right now, roughly? Equal 469 million.
Your EAV is
Yeah.
over $500 million now.
Is
Five,
it
544,
544? Was
Million.
that without the deductions?
yes, that's before, yeah, that's before,
Okay, so the deductions
Yeah,
bring
you're
it
right.
down to about
Yes.
470.
okay.
But if you get a 10% increase, that's 47,000. So that puts it up to, that would take it up to $500 million, well over $500 million. So that means if their administrator is watching that, he can look at his rate and then apply a rate and then come up with dollars that would raise taxes, yes, very easily. See, it wasn't that long ago, we were in the 3s, but just in the last couple of years, it's popped up from like 387 to 469. So it's gonna,
I mean, farmland's still increasing, it's just not increasing at the rate it was.
It is still
It's still increasing,
6%, 6.6.
right.
Somewhere in there.
It's a
so you're saying
average.
that on farm ground, it's potentially could go up 6% this year?
Yeah, I run those every year to see what the increase in the various districts, and the average would be 6, between 6 and 8.
Yep.
Where it used to be 10 every year,
Yeah.
and then they changed the farm law back in what, 15 or 16, something like that.
Is there an age at which your taxes stays the same every year? Like if you're 80 or something like that?
No,
Your tax, I just wondered, somebody said that, I don't think so, that's true.
no. Now, we have the senior freeze where your assessment is frozen the year, and then as we increase your assessment, you still pay taxes on the frozen amount, but your rate changes, so your
Okay.
taxes will
I
never
just
be
wondered.
frozen.
Okay,
Your value could be, but
no, okay.
So I'm guessing next fall, when we go to look at the budget, we're looking at possibly a 10%.
Well, no,
increase.
we're gonna try to stay around 5%. That's our goal. I mean, unless you wanna raise.
Well, no, but
Well, if you
I guess I don't
why would
understand, you know, she's saying it's gonna be a 10% increase.
The
How-
equalized assessed, yeah, the equalized assessed value. In other words,
you ask for $1 million, you ask for $1 million, it's just a matter of how you get it. Is your assessment really large and you don't have to multiply it by, you can multiply it by a smaller rate and still get $1 million. If the assessment goes down, then your rate just gets higher, so you can still get the $1 million. So it's just a math.
see, if we ask for 10%, that would be another $125,000.
So why would you do it if you don't need it?
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it could be.
right. I
But
see.
5% would be, $62,500.
But what you just said about why would you ask for it, that's another
That's
flaw
what
in the
I'm saying,
system.
why would you ask for it if you don't need
I
it?
actually got a phone call from Adam Niemer to talk about some of these issues with property taxes, and I brought up the fact that these taxing districts will email over and over and well, and Augie knows this, right before their budget planning, what can I get, what can I get, what can I get? I've always asked, why are you asking how much can I get? Ask for what you need and you'll either get it or you won't.
Right.
Their answer has always been, if I leave any property tax money on the table, I get penalized at the state level with funding, state funding. So this is what I told him, why? Why aren't they asking for what they need? The state funds them for whatever they're eligible for by poverty level, whatever that might be. And he was gonna look into that, I don't know what, if anything will come from that. But I just think that's a flaw in the system, that they must ask for as much as they can get, whether they need it or not. And they will call, and like I said, they'll probably argue too, because some monies are just sent to his the state level things are assigned to his office. I even had the Christmas school guy, he was a weekly thing, and he called me the week after his budget, just wanna see if there's anything new in your system yet, cause we were still calculating. Wanna see where we're at, see if there's anything I missed.
Then some
So-
administrators will also automatically, if they know farm ground's going up, they will even go farther and figure like a half a billion will then be, a half a billion, 660,000, or, they'll add that amount, counting on it, and expand it as much as they can. In other words, they pad it and ask for more than what they know they can probably get, but they'll only get
They'll
what,
get whatever it
Yeah.
provides,
Makes sense.
Anyway, we didn't wanna take up a lot of time, it's just like, we have just been beating our heads against the wall with this and wanted you to know, we really do know what we're doing. We're not just throwing numbers around, but it is a very tedious numerical process, a mathematical process. Which just, we've never seen so many $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses sell like this. It's
well,
Edgar
this
County.
isn't the only county that's.
No, this is statewide.
I know Menards County,
Yeah.
because.
Our vendors that do other counties have talked about, oh, well, what are you factoring this year? It's not are you, it's what are you factoring, so. No, it's statewide, spenders and lenders, they got money to spend, and lenders are lending it.
Well, thanks for all the good news.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you, Dina. This is, follow-up to the meeting that you and Ross and I did on, website,
Oh, uh-huh.
talking about that.
Mhm.
Where are we with that?
I have a map, I sent out statewide a question of who charged for, websites and what they charged. I think there were probably maybe 25 or so that responded. Most did not charge. There were like 3 that charged. One was like $600 a year, and one was like $150 for 3 months, or a different amount for the whole year. You're not gonna get rich off of it.
We're not even gonna, meet our additional cost.
No.
Okay.
But I do have it mapped out what counties responded and what, the next time we talked about it, so
I
you can
guess
see
we
that.
should back up a little bit. You wanna explain what that conversation was about?
Oh, just talking about the website, there's gonna be some increases, we're being forced to, update the website. It's gonna be quite costly to get the initial startup,
30 grand.
something like that. But again, this is an Esri, which is a global company that pretty much dominates the GIS world, so we don't have a lot of choice. We have a huge base of attorneys and bankers, different people that use, even just taxpayers get on there and look up their tax bill or whatever. And we were discussing if there was a way to have a fee to use that website. The downside is we've had a website since we had GIS back in 2008. And to suddenly say, oh, now you have to pay for this, which has always been free for you to use. So we reached out to other counties across the state to see.
But the rationale was going, we have had this, we're required to update and spend a whole lot of money on it.
Right.
And then
So
we had
the-
talked about view only versus manipulating it.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Ross did talk to them about having levels of a membership or whatever you wanna call it, but they didn't recommend that. They said, we don't do that, we'd have to sub-hire and your cost is just gonna go
Yeah,
up for that,
just
so,
programming them.
so.
So you're still in the decision-making phase.
Or recommendation, or you just say no.
Right, well, no, right now that we're not doing anything because they can't roll over until we're at a complete stop. We have to get through appeal sessions and get everything done, stop at the end of this year, and then they'll make all the changes and final costs. But the majority of counties do not charge. I mean, they said, oh, you're just gonna get FOIA'd anyway, and so. I can see both sides, so.
But
the
That would-
extra costs are gonna affect our accuracy eventually on flights. So, I
Just
mean,
depends on
just-
recording, you just don't
So
know.
you need to know that if we don't do that, then it's gonna affect us down the line.
We won't be able to afford as much in flights because we're paying for a system.
Right, if anything, it'd be a countywide flight and not have the lower level flights over villages, which is what we always had before. This has been a little icing we've had the last 2 flights, so,
That you have felt were worthwhile.
oh yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we need to take a look at that map and see who's charging and who's not.
yeah, I just took a highlighter and shaded in yes, no, so you can see it pretty
Okay.
quickly.
Yeah. At some point, we'll need to do some more of a dive onto that.
Right.
The fiscal side. Okay, thank
I
you.
don't know if you figure in the budget for increase in insurances here, but it's unbelievable how much the auto and the homeowners insurance is going up. It's gonna affect our insurance too, for all of our properties.
Already has,
Pardon?
already has.
Yeah, okay. I know it's unbelievable how much it's going up. Yeah.
Well, and the fires that we've had in the storms,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
I know that was out in California,
Yeah,
but you just look at what,
well,
how
we're
it
paying for it.
affects.
Yeah, it's been
It
North
just-
Carolina,
Yep,
yeah, amazing.
okay. Thanks, guys, really.
Okay,
Yeah, you and I, we've talked
Thanks for
about
the
that,
good
so.
news.
well, I don't know, maybe we've got some numbers wrong and it won't be quite that bad.
Okay.
It's one time I wanna be wrong.
Every percentage would be better.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Augie, do you have anything this morning?
Just a reminder that we're not meeting this Wednesday because of Lincoln's birthday. So we will meet Thursday at
And the-
9 o'clock.
And the meeting tomorrow is at 2 o'clock and we sent out a thing, I don't know whether you got it yet, Carl, but it's gonna be on Sheriff Street. The, safety meeting is tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
No, it's not out at the
Highland Park?
Highland Park.
Well,
It's
I
at the
didn't know it
government
was ever
center.
gonna be there.
Okay, I thought that's where we were gonna have it.
Oh,
Okay.
well, we could've,
I-
we originally said here, didn't
Right.
we?
But they've got training.
Yes, yes. So, you got anything?
Tomorrow afternoon, what time?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Anybody got anything?
I stopped at shelter last week, talked to Andrews. She said she had 8 calls in one day, people wanting to get rid of their dogs. And she did split
Christmas
up,
is over.
yeah, she split up her help. One person works in the morning cleaning and the other person works in the afternoon feeding. And she's talking about one evening a week staying open late so people that work during the daytime can come out and kind of look at the dogs, which I thought was a good idea. She is still moving into the new part. She actually moved her 2 cats over there, so
Kind of good building for 2 cats.
the hairless cat, she's over there. But she's just really busy, but Linda's helping out too, so she's got it all divided up, so actually it's covered pretty well.
My meeting fell through with getting the generator looked at.
It fell through?
Yeah, I gotta get with him this week and see when he can make it down.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, he's working on a big bid, he said,
Where's that at?
the tower.
Looks nice over there, got cleaned out, looks
They did a
good.
good job.
Looks
There's
good.
still a little more to do. but-
Yeah, looks good.
It's a little rougher when you get close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lisa?
Yes. Just a second here.
I have a question with Lisa.
Mhm.
You mentioned something about a wind farm in Coast County. There was an article in the Champaign paper last week about having a wind farm in southern Coast County, is that true? It's in
I
the
know
paper,
that
it's in the Champaign paper,
Mm,
the wind farm.
yeah.
That land's not very flat, is it? South of Coast County, southern Coast County? I thought you mentioned something about a wind farm over there, or something, okay. It was in Champaign paper, I just wondered. Yeah, so we need another wind farm, right?
You know, it wasn't wind, it was solar, with the Facebook post on concrete, one of the comments was, well, Edgar County won't let solar farms in. I'm like, you don't know how hard it was to keep my farm still.
Yeah.
I never said you can't have a solar farm. Oh, well, yeah, okay, so EPA email, Augie sent this out. Long phone, Augie sent this out mid last month, and I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know whether it has any bearing on us or not. It was through UCCI. Illinois EPA brings Recycle Coach to all Illinois communities.
Yeah, what is that? Did you read it?
Yeah.
Sounds like they just hired somebody.
Yeah, so we can have a
I don't-
holistic, locally tailored and easy to access recycling education platform. I'm just mentioning it. Recycle Coach will be engaging counties and municipalities across the state to ensure residents are afforded the opportunity to have their community participate in this opportunity. Feel good, yeah, sounds good, lots of words.
They're gonna
So-
tell you how to do it. I need
Basically.
to know how to do it, where to take the stuff. That's what's
Yeah, right,
important about the
that's right,
program.
that
Yeah.
Not how to do it. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
I need to know where to take it, and that's where the
Exactly.
issue is.
Hey,
Yeah.
see, we used to take it up to Georgetown.
Well, they used
I
to
know.
collect stuff over out at the,
Nobody's doing it.
at pools.
Yeah.
Well,
nobody's-
and they did it at, here at Ingram Waste, but people were dumping,
Yeah.
even though they had it open only when they were open. Well, 4-H, I had a program that started out with a grant and we kept it going for a long time. And we recycle paper. And we were filling semis full of paper, but the market fell off and we couldn't find anybody. You know, it got to the point where people were just tired of volunteering their time and their trailer and their semi and to haul it to wherever, and it just became unsustainable.
Well, so in their infinite wisdom, they wanna teach you how
Yeah,
to do it. I don't need taught, I need to know where.
Where-
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Cause I saved my fluorescent light bulbs, cause I was gonna take them to pools, and then they didn't have it, and now there's no place to take them.
yeah.
The Indiana State
So I'm
used
not
to
gonna
take
tell you what I'm gonna
computers.
do with
Indiana, I don't know about
They
that
used to.
part.
No,
They used to,
you just take what?
computers and
Well,
stuff like that.
Stormwater District did
electronics.
Yeah, they quit taking
That's what I
glass,
thought.
they quit taking everything but cardboard pretty
They
much.
used to take computers also,
They
electronics,
used to,
yeah.
Yeah.
but that was
And now you can
before.
pay $15 or $20 and take them to Goodwill, at the railroad tracks there on 3rd Street.
Yeah.
So yes, I just thought that was worth bringing up. Health
Yeah.
Department, we've been in on those emails. I sent Kim an email, I said, thank you for including me, I just don't respond because I don't have anything to say. But,
I read it this morning, I get busy on the weekend, she sent that out on Friday, I think, but they got the heat
Boiler's running.
seems to be working good. I'm a little bothered at Sycamore, and I'm glad
Yeah,
she's
I
doing
agree.
what she's doing.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say what she's doing, but, because she was about a month without constant heat. I mean, they'd get
Yeah,
it fixed, and then next thing you know, it was,
and how many days have they had to close?
I know.
More than a week.
And I just saw that
total.
I felt like they didn't see any urgency in getting anything going.
But, well,
And then at the end, they said, well, the thing was you didn't maintain it. Well, you guys put it in,
right,
you should have maintained it. You're the ones who were maintaining the equipment there. Why didn't you take care of it?
There is that, but then Janet was looking through records, Kim and Janet were, and the maintenance contract was ended
In 20.
in 20.
The last payment was in 20, which I don't know whether they paid at the beginning or the end, but, so, yeah, they had a maintenance contract and then they just dropped it. They
then
dropped it, not
right.
Janet.
But then Kim said that they also said that there was sludge or rust or something that looked like it'd been there, it'd been collecting for years,
Oh, it had
like
been.
more than 4. I'm like,
Mhm.
well, if it was already a problem before the maintenance agreement ended,
how come it's such a problem all of a sudden?
Right.
Well, and you guys put that in, you should have said, hey, you gotta maintain this. It needs to be, every couple of years. I wasn't happy with how they handled it.
She was out of Walmart last week, bought about 5 space heaters. Yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing, when they put in that new furnace, there's something they didn't change, it was really old, that went along with the furnace. And they didn't change that, and that might have been the reason why you're having trouble. I forget what they named it, something to the left of where the furnace is.
The air handler?
Yeah, I think that's what it
Well,
was.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, they didn't do anything with that when they put in the new furnace.
They've had issues with that. I mean, it kicks out and she has to come in and reset it. But, I don't know, there seems to be issues that they have that don't get resolved and should get resolved.
And Kim is proactive. I am pleased with how Kim has been handling this.
Yeah, I am too. Because, I mean, I feel bad that she got stuck in that situation. I mean, her expertise isn't in building maintenance, it's in
Right.
health department, running a health department, but she's certainly got a crash course in building maintenance.
I will tell you though, when I was at the Republican committee meeting the other night, there's a guy that sits across from me that's pretty new to town, a retired gentleman who frequently has opinions, but he also does have knowledge and contacts. And I was sharing health department. I thought, let's see, what can I say that's different and new and positive? And so I was talking about the health department and dental clinic, and I said that they were having, in case you've been seeing Facebook, they're having problems with their heat system, which has resulted in them having to be closed several different times. And he said, oh, Ameren has a program for not-for-profits. So he gave it to me, and I gave it to Kim. So that was good. So I need to check with her and see if anything can come from that.
Okay.
But, okay, so that's health department. Otherwise, I think health department is going pretty well. HRC 708 board meets Wednesday morning. UCCI, I went to UCCI meeting. The bad thing is I have to take a vacation day to do it. The good thing is, I thought it was really worthwhile. And I have some questions I'll ask you later. See, I take all sorts of notes. But the reason I went was because there was going to be a session on county administrators. Do you need one? What does one do? Is it only for big counties? And 2 people, and it wasn't done well, which was frustrating. But 2 different county administrators were there. One is from Bureau County, which is not huge, and the other one was from Madison, which is huge. But they talked about what their jobs are, what their role is, their relationship with elected officials and county board, and they have their own group, so their own professional group. So, because that was my thought was how does an administrator know what their role is, what to do? How do they find out information? Well, they have their own organization. So it was helpful, and when we get to the point of exploring it further, I have a couple of contacts, and there's an organization that we could ask more from. So in that regard, it was worthwhile. I just wish there had been more. And the rest of it I can just visit with Jeff about, but that was the reason I went. And like I said, it is worth going. The next one is in Galena, which I've never been able to go.
A long way up.
It is a long way.
That's a neat town.
Great.
It is a great town. I've gone there for different organizations I've belonged to. And the interesting thing is they've upped their amount because some entity gave them money, and they've upped their amount to, they will reimburse the county $500, which the county can choose to either keep or give to the participant. That's not a hint. And,
Yeah.
they will pay for your lodging, and then you turn in how much mileage was, and then they will reimburse the county for that.
That's good.
So, what I'm saying is, if I or any of us go, it's not going to cost the county. So, I really think it's very worthwhile. And if I can see my way to go, I think I will. So, and that's it.
Any questions, Lisa? Carl, do you have anything you want to discuss?
No.
Yes, Dan.
I know it's on the thing for Thursday, or hiring another deputy. Did we fire a deputy, or could I get a comment from somebody every time I see him at Main Street, which, yeah, says, how come we released a deputy? So I said, I don't understand, I don't know, I can't really tell you.
Yeah, we did not release the
I
deputy.
said, I don't think we did.
There's,
Quit.
well, a year ago,
Yeah,
there
a year
was a
ago.
deputy that resigned.
Okay.
Because
And
he
he
was SR.
Right,
Don't we
well,
have one that's on workman's comp or something too?
and then we have, well, the one that quit last year, the sheriff replaced him with a new
Okay.
deputy.
Okay,
And, we have one deputy, the sergeant, who's
Okay.
been on,
okay. That's what I thought.
medical leave for workman's comp, whatever you wanna call it, because he was involved in an accident last spring. So he's been off 8-9 months.
Now, will he come back eventually?
We don't know.
I don't know.
He wants to.
Yeah, we had a meeting last week with the sheriff, chief deputy, the sergeant, and detective. And we talked about a lot of issues and everything. And as a result of that meeting, we decided that we need to add another deputy.
All right.
We
You know,
had
this-
originally gone to 8, but only because we had hired a deputy to cover Shiloh schools.
Right,
But that, he left,
right.
and then, so we didn't get any of that reimbursement.
Hmm.
So it automatically dropped down to 7.
Okay.
So now I'm sorry, Carl.
Yeah.
I tried to
I thought-
explain to him, but he wouldn't listen to me, so
I thought we didn't have an investigator
don't
because
have
the
one.
investigator left.
I don't know anything.
We did.
He, a year, 2 years ago, the sheriff came to us and said that they were potentially gonna lose a couple deputies. And that's when we gave them the longevity thing, which basically is they get a pay increase based on the number of years. And, those two people left anyway.
That one we changed, you know, it'd be or don't have to live in every county,
No,
remember we
we'd
changed that a
already-
long time ago too.
We'd already changed that.
I thought,
So, but then after he left, we had one of the deputies stepped up and he took that role. And, he was doing it, and then we had another guy that used to work for the city, who was a detective when he was at the city. And he was a deputy, and he was filling that role. So we had someone acting, but ever since last spring, when that deputy was involved in that accident, then, you know, he was working day shift. So when he wasn't there, then that detective kinda had to do a dual role, detective and working the road. And then, you know, the state's attorney came to us, you know, he made that statement, you know, at that meeting about, you know,
yeah.
that caused the problems with that particular case. And that day, they had the sheriff, the chief deputy, the guy that was detective working. But if that sergeant wouldn't have been off on workman's comp, or, you know, due to his injury, we would have had 4 available people. So it's just, you know, the circumstances, the way it worked out was why we kinda got in a predicament that time. Like I mentioned at the meeting the other day, as far as I'm concerned, they should have called the city. If they really needed help,
Right.
they should have called the city, because we're a small county. You know, we're limited on the number of people we have, and we gotta rely on other people. Just like Chrisman, you know, when they're not available, the county has to go up and handle their calls, same with Kansas. And, you know, the city calls us on cases, you know, we help them, you know, we're a small county, it's always been that way, we help each other. But anyway, we felt like, you know, based off of everything, that we needed to go ahead and add the extra deputy, because we don't know, like when he's gonna be able to come back.
Do you have
You know,
any,
he's-
do you have any applicants for that job? Any ideas?
Not right now,
Not yet.
no.
Be hard to find one.
So, you know, they're working on it.
Uh,
So, you know, we've got a resolution to pass Thursday
Thursday, yeah.
to add, you know, we've authorizing the sheriff to add an extra deputy. But no one has
Okay, I just wondered,
quit or
yeah.
been relieved of duty or whatever. I don't know. Where your person's getting moved into.
The only thing I would think
He's
is,
a pain in the butt anyway.
Oh, I have one more thing, not related to that, but I guess slightly. We are gonna have another broadband meeting Thursday, February 20th at 4:30. Nextlink, now that we have that date set, I need to contact the Nextlink guy, because he said he wanted either come or do a remote meeting with us, just to give us an update on what's going on. And I think really it doesn't matter for that committee which company it is that gives us a presentation, because it's basically all gonna be the same. The only thing is, Nextlink already has money from a previous grant to do things down your way, Carl, so they're already going to be doing things whether or not they get the BEAD money. So, just to let you know, that'll be coming up.
You have any applicants for the HRC position? I had a thing in the paper Saturday about
Yeah, I don't
about all the
know.
qualifications.
Yeah,
Did you read it?
I did.
See, that's
Maybe.
hard to find somebody with those
Yeah,
qualifications.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then, they're, yeah,
Well, maybe they're out there, yeah.
maybe. It probably won't be somebody local from
Yeah,
Ector County.
well, I can understand that.
Yeah. Lot of requirements,
Yep.
and I assume we're gonna talk again about filling an empty position on our board.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
talked
what
to
I
Because
was
you
gonna-
haven't talked to Jonathan about anything, have you?
I have asked him if they have anybody, and he hasn't said anything.
Okay, well.
Because Bobby wants to,
Yeah,
he said he didn't have anything to report to me yet. And then we've also got, the health department has a board opening.
Yeah, I talked to Mary the other day about it. She's looking forward to getting on the board. Talked to her.
Mary,
Mary
What's
Liz.
her name?
Spillman,
oh,
or right,
right.
Yeah,
Mary
right,
Liz.
yeah, she's looking forward to getting
So
on.
I don't know, have they formally asked her yet? We talked
I
about
don't
it at our
think so,
last
no,
meeting.
no. According to her, they haven't asked her yet.
Yeah.
She'd do a good job.
I think we talked about it, but tabled actually making a decision until our
Mm-hmm.
February meeting.
I was kind of waiting to hear from Kim rather than just going ahead and reaching out to somebody. I thought that, didn't want to get tired.
Where's Jonathan going, you know? Is he staying around
he's
here?
staying
Yeah.
here, he's just gonna step down.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what he said, and then he kind of said, that would be really awkward, but, which it would,
Yeah,
but, wouldn't, depending on how the relationship all worked out, wouldn't that be a blessing
Yes,
for the person who steps into that role?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would just let that kind of play out.
Yeah.
hospital didn't steal him, did they? Shouldn't say that, I guess, okay.
Anything
that's-
else?
That's all I have.
Can we talk about broadband? Did anybody watch the Super Bowl on wireless?
No,
Cause I was watching it, I wanted to watch it, and I mean, that thing buffered all the time.
Did it?
Yes, and I thought, so I Googled, and it said that was an issue the last Super Bowl, was watching it on wire. I got Starlink. But I don't know if it was Starlink's problem or the fact that there were a lot of people watching that game on, that it buffered a lot.
Well, I pay a fortune for Dish, it's now up to
I got Dish.
147
I know,
bucks a
I-
month, because our
Internet.
internet can't handle me doing something
I
else.
pay 100
Well,
bucks, I don't know.
Can you get Starlink? It's 120, and then you can get,
Yeah.
I
I
signed
know,
up
it's
for
kind of a catch-22.
Sling last night. I was so ticked off the Dish.
Yeah.
I don't have trouble.
I've never
with it.
had
I like
Dish,
it.
I've always had, direct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
DirecTV, I had
I like
DirecTV, they made me
I
mad.
like the remote.
I've had
My
them
mother
for-
switches off and on, so she
Actually,
doesn't.
I've
I've
not
had them for 28 years.
I had it for a little while, then they
I've
said,
had
well,
it
you're
forever too.
Well,
In fact, we
Dish,
don't have any problem with
We don't have
DirecTV.
I don't have trouble.
Well, they came and they said, well, you're a commercial business. I said, I don't have, not where I have the DirecTV is not a commercial business. It's an apartment, basically upstairs where we were, but it's not in the restaurant. Well,
We used to have two
I
accounts,
used to have some
commercial
partial,
and
well,
you did.
business, yeah.
But you
I mean, a
don't want, you
commercial
don't want
and a
them with
home.
DirecTV, cause then they want to charge you a fortune for, and I said, I'm not we don't watch it down there. Well, you're a business. I said, okay, well, I'll go to the next guy then.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have anything, Russ, other than
No.
you getting postponed?
Yeah, I gotta
He
reschedule.
just gotta stay on him.
Yeah.
It's just, and if you need some help, I figured you could handle it. Tell you right. Tell you a story about him later. Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Russ moves. Yes. I mean,
I love the reliability of this group.
I beat you.
10 seconds, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I gave him a list